good point there. Senator Schmitt, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good to see you again, Mr. Feinberg. I actually think of all the confirmation hearings that we're going to do, and some of which get a lot more publicity than this one. I don't know if this is on C-SPAN. I don't know if it's being covered by anything else. Based on your testimony earlier about being in obscurity, I'm sure you're hoping it's not on any channel, I guess. But I think this is actually one of the most important jobs in the entirety of the federal government. Because I sit here and in bipartisan unison, we talk a lot about how we absolutely have to have procurement reform, and I think it's a huge waste for some of my Democrat colleagues to be railing away on this temper tantrum about Doge when they could be asking the questions that we've been told for forever that are actually top of mind, which is sort of with 14 seconds left, my friend from Maine asked about how you actually get this kind of procurement reform. And so I'd like to drill down just a little bit on that. You've talked about introducing more competition. That's certainly, I think, part of it. One thing specifically that I've heard from a lot of Missouri-based suppliers are these TINA requirements. Having this certified cost or pricing data for these relatively small or medium-sized businesses really is a barrier to entry for the work. Will you support sort of trying to figure out how we can do better there so you actually have the requirements aren't so burdensome that you can actually have new entrants into the system, or they can actually more competitively bid?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that piece, but I understand the concept, and I'll make sure I look at it and act on it appropriately. Okay,
and then I think that part of the reason why your job is so important is that so much of this is going to be a cultural shift that's difficult in a organization the size of the Department of Defense. But this kind of mindset of spending what's allocated, how do you get to a place where we're actually maximize the benefit of every dollar?
Well, first, if we can prioritize it on the most important missions, get rid, which is hard and takes time, of legacy spending, and really do it with discipline on what we really need, and then focus on how to be efficient and cut costs in our program management and on our operations.
I know that there's been a lot of advancements. I'm sure you've seen this in the private sector. And by the way, I want to thank you. You've gotten a lot of criticism for being successful in the private sector, and I want to thank you for your divesting a lot to come take this position and share your expertise on behalf of the American people to make our defense structure and the Pentagon and our weapon systems the best they can be to protect Americans. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
There's been a lot of changes and a lot of innovation as relates to AI and automation and real-time data analytics that haven't found their way to the Pentagon. How do you go about improving that culture within DoD? What have you done before that you think you can bring to the Pentagon?
I remember, at our supermarket company, Albertsons, I should say what used to be the company, we went to the CEO and we said, boy, we got Amazon in the grocery business, we got all these guys using technology, and I remember the CEO said to me, I don't need any of that stuff, I've been doing this, really good CEO, I've been doing this my whole life, leave me alone. Unfortunately, change is so important and you got to be ahead of it. So it is a challenge going into departments that have done things a long time a certain way and trying to make change and being forceful about it. There certainly needs to be a partnership, I said earlier, with technology people to understand the importance of the operational people on the ground. And you'll find the best people, depending on who want this change, will embrace it. And those who are going to let run with it, give them autonomy and let them drive it.
Well, one of the things I think that's been talked a lot about, which I agree with, is moving towards high-tech weapons systems that can be mass-produced, like drones that are able to swarm. But I do think that we've got to be able to do both, which is one of the reasons why the next generation air defense program is really, really important. I think that those advancements are good, and they may be the future, but just we've talked about this a little bit in my office. The two places where we have absolute advantage over the CCP is our nuclear subs and our bomber and fighter fleets. The air superiority we have and the underwater superiority that we have. And I know that you committed in my office that we would work together on that to make sure that in addition to introducing some of the new high-tech systems that are available, that we're not going to abandon the superiority we have in the skies.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.